I believe a man is to provide and protect.
You do.
And I'm not looking for the person that I love to do trivial work.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of It's Giving. I am your host, Sarah Fontenot, and today, I hope I don't cry. I'm just going to tell you the real, okay? We have a guest today that has absolutely changed my life. And honestly, if you're on this channel, he's probably changed your life too. He is a mindset guru, motivational speaker, used to be a DJ. Okay, I might be giving away a little bit too much. By the way, if you want to be great in life, you got to be hungry, okay? Can we please give it up for Les Brown? Oh my
Thank you very much. I'm a legend in my own mind.
No, you're a legend in real life. Oh my gosh, how are you?
I am cancer-free, I am debt-free, and I'm drama-free.
Oh my God.
Come on.
This sounds like the trilogy. Like, this is great.
Yes,
this is a book
indeed.
for each one.
Absolutely.
So I have to ask you, if this chapter in your life were called It's Giving blank, and you have to fill in the blank, what would it be called? And you have to say it's giving.
You want to give all of yourself to doing everything that you can to impact the world.
Yes.
To live a life that will outlive you.
Yes. So it's giving legend for real.
Yes, it is, because I think that all of us were born and preserved for such a time as this.
Yes.
And giving is about making impact.
Yes.
Yes. Giving is about surrendering to a call on your life. Most people go through life working a job. A job is what you get paid for, but when you're giving, that's a calling. A calling is what you're made for.
Ooh. It's already starting, guys. It's already starting. Wow. So I have to ask you, because I know so much of your story. I mean, going back to you being in school, and you tell the story about your teacher and how you've had certain people that have spoken life into you. How important do you feel like that's been as far as who you are today?
I'm glad you asked that question, because at this stage of my life, it was something that Peter Drucker said. He said, there's no success without successors. And so I've been training speakers now to pass the torch, because when we look at all the chaos, the violence, the mass shootings, and everything that's taking place, evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. And when you look at a city or look at a country, it reflects the state of the mind of the people that are there. What speakers of hope, and this is what I'm doing, teaching speakers how to speak words of harmony, of peace and joy. Yes. That you're able to speak light and dispel the darkness. You're able to inspire people where there's hopelessness. And we all have a role in that.
Yes.
And so at this time, my goal is to help to replicate and to amplify voices of people like yourself who want to make a difference, who are taking a stand with your life. I have the saying that always stand up for what you believe in, because you can fall for anything.
Oh, sheesh. That's so good. You know, I've got to tell you, I have actually spoken all over the world. And the reason why I said, I hope I don't cry, and I'm a very emotionally connected person, is because really and truly, Mr. Les Brown, I don't even just want to say Leslie, you have been that person that I didn't know anything about personal development. I didn't know anything about encouragement. I didn't know anything about being motivated and how to do it. And I used to listen to you every day on YouTube. And then it turned into books. I'm talking about for over a decade. Wow. And you have literally, you don't know, but you taught me how to be the speaker that I am. And I've had the opportunity now to speak all over the world. So you're like one of my teachers that I'm just now meeting.
Oh, thank
and
you.
I'm so honored to have met you, and so grateful that you're here and how you do help to amplify voices, because there are so many people that are listening right now that have never met you, but you've taught them so much. Who are some of those people for you that taught you so much?
Mr. Leroy Washington, and you know the story. I came in his class looking for a friend named MacArthur Stevens, and he said, young man, go to the front of the room and work out this problem for me. And I said, sir, I can't do that. I'm not one of your students. He says, do what I'm asking you to do anyhow. And the other students started laughing, saying, he's Leslie. He's got a twin brother, Wesley. He's DT. And he asked, what's DT? He's the dumb twin. And they all started laughing. And he looked at me and I said, I am, sir. And he came from behind his desk and he looked at me as you would do if I said the same thing before you. And he said, don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. Do you hear me? And I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And what he did and what you do and all of us as speakers, as coaches, how people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves.
Yes.
And what we do is distract, dispute, and inspire. We distract them from their story with our voice, our personality, our knowledge. And as they listen, we begin to dismantle their current belief system and inspire them to become, as Mother Teresa would say, a pencil in the hand of God and start writing a new chapter with their lives.
Sheesh. You're just such a well of... How often do you read?
I read 2 to 3 books a month.
Really?
Yes.
Still?
Yes.
When did this start?
Years ago, because, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I'm 78. I'm not an old dog, but I can bark. And I believe that you're never too young to teach, you're never too old to learn.
Agreed.
And so I do that. I love reading. I've been doing that for a very long time. It's a habit. And we're living in a time where it's mandatory. That Peter Drucker said that we must unlearn, learn, and relearn. There are a lot of people, millions of people are failing today.
Yes.
Because they're coming into a new world order with an old mindset.
Ooh.
And so this is a time that you have to elevate your thinking, elevate your skills, and elevate your reference group. And what I mean by that, the people that you have around you. Harvard University did an 85-year study, and they said that the people that you communicate with most, those people determine how you're going to come out in life. Sidney Poitier, the Academy Award winner, he said in his book called Man's Search for Meaning, he said, when you go for a walk with someone, something happens without being spoken. Either you adjust to their pace or they adjust to your pace.
Ooh.
Whose pace have you adjusted to?
Oh, I had a mentor and he used to say, whoever's most certain will always win. Yes. And so I love that because it's true. If you stand boldly, even if you're boldly wrong, people will believe what it is that you're saying or what it is that you're doing because it's an energy. And we energetically follow those who feel certain to us. And that's why you have tyrants. And then you also have people that have really changed the world through contribution, through inspiring, through giving. Who do you believe is, like, as far as having that person that is your lighthouse, your person that's really stood for you? Who has that person been in your life?
I believe that we should have a reference group of people that you can go to when life hits you. Like you met Jerry.
Yes.
Jerry is there for me.
Yes.
He has my back. You have to have people around you who love you in spite of yourself.
Yeah.
They know everything about you, but they love you anyhow.
Yes, they still love you.
Let me share something with you. I met you in a different interview.
Yes.
And what I admire about you, that you have a personal standard of decency that is refreshing. And that today, being vulgar has become the new normal for a lot of people.
Yes.
But you're a person that you operate under the thinking of Henry David Thoreau, who said, do not go where the path may lead, go where there's no path and leave a trail. So I admire the higher standards that you're holding yourself.
Don't make me cry. I told you I'm an emotional person.
I am too, so it's okay.
We can cry together.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think it is so important to have those people in our lives that do love us despite. And a lot of the times, I think it's really important for, as you get closer to people, because I'm sure that being I mean, you are a legend. You have already left a legacy and you're still here. Like, you have done so much, but I'm also sure that it's come with people throwing stones. I'm sure that it's come with crazy stories or whatever it may be, or relationships that have tarnished or eroded over time, or different types of things like that. And so I guess my question is, how do you deal with the not so positive part that does come with being an international, world renowned motivational speaker? I know you've been in politics, you've been a DJ, you've done so many different things, but how do you deal with the naysayers? Because I'm sure there are some of those as well.
I don't have to engage with them.
Oh, that's good.
I did an interview yesterday and they asked me, what do you think about Will Smith's wife and the book that she's coming out with?
Yeah.
And I asked him, would that put food on my table if I read it?
Ooh.
Is it going to put money in my pocket?
Yeah.
I said, why should I look at that? And why should you bring that up to me, given why I'm here and the value that I bring to the world? Why should I be focusing on gossip?
Yes.
And so we're living in what is called the distraction economy. What you tune into, you turn into.
Ooh.
And so we have to guard our minds.
Yeah.
You know, be ye not conformed to this world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yes.
And so most people are not focusing on what they're watching. Nothing can get through except through your eyes and your ears. This is an incredible time where artificial intelligence is replacing over 350 million jobs.
Wow.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
And because artificial intelligence does not have a heart, number one. Number two, I came up during the time of Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell. Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby.
Hey!
Come on now. It's artificial. We are the real thing.
Yes,
Yes, so we will always be several steps ahead of what's going on now. Life is about fluctuation. Sometimes things go well and sometimes things don't go well. And I say to people, when things aren't going well, don't tell everybody. 80% don't care, and 20% glad it's you.
Yeah. I love that. No, so true. And you know, one of the things that I've realized, because I feel like people will speculate and gossip, but they don't really know the truth. And so for me, I had to learn to be okay with the people that know the truth and love me in spite of it all.
Yes.
Those are the people that I care about.
Yes.
I love that. I think it was Matthew McConaughey. He said, if you have a problem with me, call me. If you can't call me, you don't know me. If you don't know me, you don't have a problem with me. So you have a problem with what you think of me. And I think that a lot of people have this energy where they want to make you seem a certain way, or they want to speculate certain things. And our biggest opportunity, I agree with you, is to, if it's not in the circle, if they don't know you, why does that opinion matter? Why are we going back in comments on Instagram? Why, and it's funny because, I have a lot of guests on the show, and oh my gosh, and some people are very polarizing that come on the show, and they'll make statements and their audience will be like, oh, well, she's dumb or she's this. I have 3 degrees and an honorary doctorate. You know, there's nothing dumb over here. But if I had to explain that to every person that came to say something negative, I would be wasting so much time. And even worse, I'd be vibrating at a much lower, less attractive energy that I don't want. So I think it's important for us to do exactly what you said. Who cares?
And what people think about you is none of your business.
Yes.
Yeah. This is a time where you have to give yourself your own credentials. I have a PhD.
Yes.
And it stands for passion, hunger, and drive.
I love it. I love it. The best school is the University of Life.
Yes.
It teaches us everything we need to know.
And the University of Hard Knocks.
Oh, yes, that too.
Because who you become on the other side of the Red Seas in your life introduces you to a person in you that you don't know right now.
Yes.
It only comes through during disruptions. And disruptions demand transformation, because in order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been.
Yes.
And so that's why when things happen to us, that we should not panic. We should ask ourselves the question, what can I learn from this? What is it about me that I need to strengthen, that I can rise above this and put this behind me? I need to let go or be dragged.
Yes. One thing that you say all the time, or I've heard 10,000, I actually quote you, by the way, when I'm on stage. I say, if you fall, try to land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. Yes.
Yes.
Where does that come from? Who taught you that?
The University of Life. Because life happens to all of us.
Yes.
Things are going to happen to you, to me, and the people that we care about. That's why Scripture says, think it not strange that you face the fiery furnaces of this world. You will, not you might. You will have tribulations. There's a guy named Dimples had a song years ago, and he said, if it ain't one thing, it's another. Yes, and that's the way life flows. And our goal is to know greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world, and we're more than conquerors.
Yes.
And that we can handle this, that we can deal with it.
Yes.
And life will always be testing us.
Yes.
Always. And sometimes it will get the best of you. I mean, sometimes life beats you up so bad, like you see a fight and a guy is knocked out on his feet and the referee say, how many fingers do I have up? I remember times in my life, if somebody say, how many fingers do you see? About 100.
Right.
Yes, and life had knocked me silly.
Yes.
But it's a part of the process.
Yes.
And what we must do in all things, give thanks. Every day won't be a good day, but there's some good in every day.
Yes. No bad days, just character building days.
Absolutely. If you don't think every day is a great day, just try missing one.
Ooh.
Somebody just grunted.
Let that sink in. The team is on fire, y'all.
Yes.
I love that. And it's so true. And so, wow. Oh my goodness. Try missing one. Sheesh. That I'm still like, let that sink in.
I saw something the other day that grabbed me.
Yes.
It said a healthy person have 1,000 dreams, but a sick person only have one to get well. That's why we say our health is our wealth.
Yes. How did you overcome the cancer? And I know this wasn't your first battle. This was your second, correct? How did you overcome that? Who did you have to be? Because I heard you quote a stat, and I hope that you quote it today, about our immune system. And how did you say, no, I'm debt-free, I'm cancer-free, and I'm drama-free? How did you do that?
The oncologist, he was a bad brother who graduated from Howard University. His name was Mr. Golson. And so he said, Mr. Brown, I got some bad news. What is it? You have cancer.
Oh.
I said, whoa. I said, is there anything else? He said, yes. It's metastasized to 7 areas of your body.
Oh.
I said, wow. He said, why are you smiling? I said, man, 7 is my lucky number.
Wow.
I'm one of 7 children. I was born February the 17th. Joshua marched around the walls of Jericho 7 times. Naaman dipped himself in the river Jordan 7 times. I said, is there anything else? He said, yes. I said, what? He said, and you're ugly too. Come on, man. Did you just
lies?
He said, but you got this. He said, I never tell my patients they're terminally ill. What I say is that my skills, my abilities have terminated. I determine the diagnosis. You and God determine the prognosis. And a verdict. As we look at ourselves, the verdicts of what take place in our lives are not determined by the facts. It's determined by us, our faith, our heart, and our willingness to do what's required in order for us to be here. Being here is not a given.
Oh, so good. I heard you said something along the lines of our immune system drops. What was that percentage?
When someone looks at you and say that you have a terminal illness, your capacity of your immune system to protect you drops by 40%.
Wow. In
the UK, they don't even allow doctors to say that you are terminally ill anymore. Because of the area of psychoneuroimmunology, words have power. That's why in the Bible it says, death and life is in the tongue. We speak too much death as opposed to speaking life. And a diagnosis is not a verdict.
Yes.
Yes, and so there are some people, they leave as a result of hearing those words. And what he said, I determine the diagnosis, you and God determine the prognosis.
Yes.
And that works for me.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a friend who I talked to yesterday. She was told because she had breast cancer that she was terminally ill. And she said, what do you mean by that? He said, well, you have 6 months. And she said, listen to me. She said, you determine the diagnosis. God determines the timetable. Stay in your lane.
Ooh.
And that was 8 years ago. Come
on, somebody. Wow.
Oh,
wow. Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
She said, stay in your lane.
Oh, I have goosebumps. Because people so often, the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill.
Yes.
And he talks about drifters, right?
Yes.
Because so many people are drifting inside of their lives and they're never really certain about most things. They allow the people, the places, the things, the opinions, the judgments, the diagnosis to tell them who and how they're going to be. And then they choose to believe it. But wow, you just, how powerful it is to just know you can say whatever you want, but this is what I'm believing. And sometimes we win that battle and sometimes we don't.
And we have to work consciously. Reading, having a ritual like you have and I have.
Yes.
Reading something positive every day.
Yes.
30 or 40 pages. Listening to messages that are designed to empower us. Dr. Carter G. Woodson said, if you can determine what a man shall think, you never have to concern yourself with what he will do.
Oh.
He said, if you can make a man feel inferior, you never have to compel him to seek an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. And if you can make a man feel justly an outcast, you never have to order him to go to the back door. He'll go without being told. And if there's no door, his very nature will demand one. I spoke in a prison in Ohio, and these young guys came in sagging their pants. I said, hey, what y'all call that? I'm an old man. They said sagging. I said, wow. I said, how you spell it? They said, what, sagging? Yeah, Saggin. I said, wow. If you can determine what a man shall think, you never have to concern yourself with what he will do. I said, spell it again. And they said, Saggin. I said, now spell it backwards.
Oh.
They got quiet. I said, I'm here to eliminate a virus, HIV, hood-infected virus, AIDS, addiction to incarceration and death syndrome. Don't come for me. I didn't call an Uber.
I'm ready to cry right now. Oh my gosh. Oh, sheesh. That just hit my soul. Mm-hmm. And we subscribe. Like, whose story are you subscribing to?
Come on now.
And then when you teach people, okay, you don't have to choose this story.
That's right.
If I want to learn about Les Brown, I'm not going to go learn about how to knit kitten hats. It's just not what you do. You have to be in alignment with what it is that you want. I have to ask you, do you feel like you are mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, physically, energetically as strong as you are now because of your upbringing? I know that they say there's nothing like having a praying woman in your life.
Come on now.
And I know that Miss Mamie Brown, I know.
I always say all that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother, Mrs. Mamie Brown. And God took me out of my biological womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. Mm-hmm. I'm adopted. Mm-hmm. My birth parents discovered last year, they were 45 minutes from here. I was conceived in Gainesville, Georgia, but my birth mother came down to Miami to give birth to us and put us up for foster care and then adoption. And what I now saying, I used to end my speeches by saying, this has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. My birth mother's name is Dorothy Bell Rucker. She was a motivational speaker. And they have a museum for my grandmother. Her name is Beulah Rucker. So now I said, this has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy and Dorothy Bell Rucker's pride and joy. I've got two mothers and I'm not ashamed. I've got two mothers and I love them just the same. If you close your eyes, I sound just like John Legend.
You sound smooth for sure. Wow. Wow. What do you think was the biggest lesson? I have one moment that happened in my life with my mom. She wasn't even teaching, it was just experiencing my mom being the most resilient that I had ever seen her. My dad ruptured a disc in his back when I was about 10 years old. My mom was trying to make sure that we weren't homeless. She was going to school full time to get her master's in engineering, had a full time job, all of us kids, my dad's injury, and her own life. So there was a lot of weight on her shoulders. And I think of a story of one time I accidentally saw her in the middle of the night crying over her homework by herself in the kitchen at like 2:00 in the morning. And in that moment, I like slunk back to my bedroom because I couldn't imagine my mom seeing me see her being weak. But what I didn't know was that was actually one of the strongest points I had ever seen my mom at, because here she is in the middle of the night, literally sobbing over her homework. And then in a few hours, she'd have to have all of us up to go to school. And she always would smile. My mom has poise. Like, she comes with joy. I'm sorry if I cry. But she used to sing this song where she tried to wake us up in the morning and she'd say, "Get out of that bed and wash your face and hands. Get into the kitchen and shake them pots and pans." Or she'd have gospel playing or something going on. And she always had incredible energy, like she's just such a gem. And I've heard a lot of gems about your mom, and Mrs. Mamie Brown. I heard of through your story, but do you have a story like that where it was literally like, this is the moment that I understand resilience, not because of what I read in a book or heard in a story, but because I experienced it with this person?
Oh, absolutely. It was a deciding point in my life. I was downtown with my mother, and I think I was probably around 4 or 5. And it was very hot. And so
Thank you.
I saw a water fountain, and I ran up to the water fountain and started drinking water. And my mother said, "Leslie, stop that." And she grabbed me by the shirt and neck and threw me on the ground.
Oh.
And she started hitting me with her fist with a crazed look in her eyes. And I'm saying, "Mama, it's me, Mama. It's me. It's me." And then a white policeman came over, and he was hitting a nightstick in his hand. He said, "Okay, you beat that little nigger boy enough. He's learned his lesson." And he walked away, and he looked at me, and he was laughing. And Mama had hit me in the head and in my mouth and the eye. And he said, "That'll learn you. That'll learn you." And my mother said, "Leslie, I'm so sorry." She said, "He was coming toward you with that nightstick. His face was red with anger. And had he hit you, he would have had to kill me. I had to do that to distract him. I'm so sorry." And I was still crying. I said, "Mama," I said, "it's okay." I said, "You hit me over here. Can you kiss me over there, right there?" She said, "You can kiss it and make it well." She said, "Okay." I said, "Over here, right here." And we both started laughing and crying at the same time. But she put herself in a position. She had to decide that if this man hits my son, he will have to kill me. And she said, that said to me, she's willing to die for me.
Yes.
And it taught me the value of courage. The Bible says, "Be of good courage." And courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the willingness to act in spite of the fear. Does that make sense?
Oh, perfectly.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Oh, behave.
Oh, wow. I love it. Wow, wow, wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have to ask, we're going to shift gears a little bit. I love talking about family and speaking. You spent some time in politics.
Yes.
How was that? Why was that?
That was fascinating. When I was a state legislator, I used to have voter registration drives and get people out to vote. At one time, we turned out 95% of the vote in every Black precinct in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
So when I was fired for editorializing about police brutality, which was unprecedented during that time, and the 2 white police officers were fired, they fired me for that. And then a friend named Horace Perkins, he came to my house. He said, "Hey, I want you to sign this." And I believe God put angels in your life. He brought these petitions. He went around and got signatures for me to run for the Ohio legislature. So I signed it. But I said, "But Perkins, I don't know anything about politics." He said, "Neither do the people who run."
So true.
So I ran and I won. And I passed 14 bills my first term.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yes. But let me tell you how I got elected. Went to the radio station on Friday before Tuesday.
Yeah.
And my opponent had over $40,000. I had like $600. And so Perkins, who was a salesman at the radio station, he said, "Come in here, come in the control room. This is where you come and your ideas flow," because I used to make my own commercials. And something came to me and said, "Call your mama." Because I just couldn't come on the air and just say, "Hi, I'm Les Brown. I want to encourage you to vote for me." I just couldn't bring myself to do that. So I said, "Mama," because I always talked about my mother when I was on the air. I said, "I'm running for the state legislature and I need you to do something for me." She said, "You've been running your mouth and you got fired, didn't you?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. But Mama, I need you to say something for me." She said, "Leslie, I don't want to be in that mess. I don't know what that is." I said, "Mama, I'll give you $500. She said, "Boy, you better send it Western Union." And so I said, "I don't need you to talk long. Just say what's in your heart. Just make it 30 seconds. She said, "Okay, now don't forget, send me my money today. I'll come for you."
Right. I said, her.
She said, "Hello, this is Mrs. Mamie Brown. When I raised my boys, I raised them to be good boys. When they got out of hand, I beat their behinds. Please vote for my son. He's a good boy." And I won. Usually you get 3,000 votes in a state representative race. I got over 26,000 votes. People were coming to the polls that I wasn't even in their district saying, "Les Brown's mama said he was a good boy. I got to vote for him." Many people would not come out of the poll because they couldn't see my name. They had to call the police on it. Yeah. But it was just that if you have a heart-centered message, I tell speakers, don't let what you want to say get in the way of what your audience needs to hear.
Oh.
Find out about them.
Yes.
What is it that they're looking for? Because when you speak to an audience, someone one-on-one, small group, or large group, they're asking 3 questions. Who are you? What do you have? And can I trust you? Okay. Because people don't buy from you, they buy into you. And so, pardon me, so I train speakers how to speak from the heart and expand the vision of the audience to get out of their history to step into their imagination. The imagination is where everything takes place. He said, the scripture, "I will give you all your eyes can see." And so when I was in the legislature, I was a fierce debater. And that's how I got a lot of bills passed.
How did you become such a great orator? Like, you are the way that you connect all of the dots in such a simple, easy, concise way is really mind-blowing, to be honest.
Thank you.
How did you become?
I studied Malcolm X. By any means necessary. Dr. King.
Yes.
Malcolm X was a communicator. Dr. King was an orator.
Yes.
The best speakers make the fewest words go the farthest.
Yes, they do both.
And so I studied them because they mastered their craft. And Howard Thurman, who was a mentor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Billy Graham, I watched and I studied all of them. And I think I'm a combination of all of them. And you take some material that you believe in that comes out of your heart and you own it. You speak from that place of power. That you help people to discover their power voice and inspire them to do something different with their lives.
Wow. That's so true. Malcolm X is definitely straight into the point.
Great communicator. Yes. And Dr. King, I have a dream.
Yes.
That's another
Tell
level.
a story.
Yeah.
And you enroll people into that story.
Yeah. So when you see me speak in the Georgia Dome, though now I'm speaking as an orator, that speech I gave, it's not over till you win,
yes.
before 80,000 people.
Wow.
But when you see me speak in a short form, Matt, now that's the Malcolm in me.
Yes.
Or in an interview like you talking to me right now.
Yes.
I'm ready for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mama beat the X out of me. Because I came home after I heard Malcolm X. And my sister, she ran and met me. She said, Leslie, you got to change your last name back to Brown. I said, my name is Leslie X. Ah! She said, Mama's going to beat the hell out of you. And so next day I went to school, I was Leslie Brown.
I know that's right.
Yeah, she beat that X out of me.
So what did you have children? Mm-hmm. What do you think about, because I do feel like in this day and age, there's a very heavy precedent on gentle parenting. I don't know anything about gentle parenting because I was not gently parented. Mom and Dad, I love you guys so much, but we know the truth. I'm kind of like you in a lot of different ways. And so what is your take on, or do you believe in, talking everything out? Or are you kind of like, well, what's the saying? Spoil the rod, spare the child?
Yeah, I talk to my children.
That's good.
More importantly, I heard something because I was thinking about how do I position what I'm doing, the business that I've built, to pass it on to my children and my children's children. And I read something that says, it's not what you leave for your children, it's what you leave in your children. So it's about being a good example.
Yes.
And having conversations and finding out what piques their imagination and support them in that.
I love that. That's powerful. So speaking of children and families, you were married once.
Yes.
To an icon as well. 2 icons together. Just wild. Mrs. Gladys Knight.
Yes, I was the conductor of the midnight train. I was not one of the pips. Don't come for me. I didn't call an Uber.
I love that. How was that experience?
That was exciting. I really feel that she is my soulmate.
Yeah?
Yes, because we had so much chemistry.
Yes.
But there's some people who come in your life, some for a reason, some for a season, and some for a lifetime. That was a season. And I discovered a lot about myself. And I'm sure she discovered a lot about herself. And I still feel a connection with her. She's an incredible, beautiful person. I got to tell you this story. I've never told this story before. There's a place in Los Angeles. They have chicken and waffles.
Yes.
Okay. I forgot the name of the
Roscoe's.
Roscoe's.
Yeah.
Right. So when the first time, our first date for lunch, we went there, and the people looked past me and saw Gladys and said, Gladys, oh, Gladys Knight, let me get you a table. So I followed behind the lady to get the table. I looked back and Gladys wasn't there. So I went back and I said, Gladys, why aren't you coming? She said, these people been here waiting.
Oh.
Bring your crazy behind and get to the back of the room. Get to the back of the line. Oh, I said, I was going to come back and get to the back of the line. Oh, my God. I admired that about her. She said, don't ignore these people because of celebrity.
Oh, wow.
You tell a lot about a person's character based upon how they treat someone that they don't consider important. And so that was embarrassing. I turned red, but nobody could see it.
Wow. Wow. She literally was willing to wait.
Yes.
And did you wait?
Yes. Are you serious? Yes, I got right there, got my behind in the back of the line. And said, baby, please, I promise you, I was coming back to stand with you.
I was just checking to make sure you were good because we're good.
Come on. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible. So this is do you feel like it's long lost love? Did you guys stay connected afterwards?
Well, for a period, and then she was married, and
Right,
So
right.
that would not be appropriate.
Right, of course.
But I follow what she's doing. I still admire her very much. She's an incredible human being and has an incredible memory of things.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fascinating to hear stories of things that she'd experienced and saw over the years and the detail of her knowledge.
Wow.
And she's a great cook too. And she could run too. And so I wanted to race her. And those little short legs can run.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I used to call her Shorty.
Oh, that's kind of cute. It's like endearing. Like, hey, Shorty.
Hey, Shorty. Don't take me back there to my pre-saved years.
Do you think you'd marry again?
A guy named Frankie Crocker said something in New York.
Mm-hmm.
He's a disc jockey. He said, "It's better to be alone than to wish you were." Did I get her or what?
Oh my goodness, so no.
At 78, you can't find a cougar.
That's not true.
At 78?
Yes. You are drama-free, debt-free, and cancer-free.
Yes.
That means it's a fair game out here.
Yes. But I'm focused on living the life that I love and loving the life that I live.
Yes.
And helping others to do the same
I
thing.
love that.
And if it happens, fine. If it doesn't, fine.
So you would marry again?
Absolutely. Don't play with me. Don't keep playing with me, honey.
Les Brown, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Okay. So we're going to shift gears here because there is a part in the show where we like to have a little bit of fun.
Okay.
These are very hard questions, okay? Very hard.
Okay.
And by very hard, this is me going to my notes because the team helps me not have terrible options because oftentimes I have terrible options personally. Okay. Let's say you are in a relationship and your girl starts to say, "I'm not doing your laundry anymore. I'm going to give you something positive versus something negative, and you have to tell me which one you would choose." Okay. So if your girl says, "I'm not doing your laundry anymore. It's a waste of my time. I just don't have time to do it anymore." It's giving, "Oh, okay, let me hire someone to start outsourcing this laundry." Or it's giving, "Where is the love? Why do you not want to love on me in this way?"
I would hire someone.
Oh, that's so easy.
Yes, absolutely. I believe a man is to provide and protect.
You do.
And I'm not looking for the person that I love to do trivial work.
I'm about to get up off the, I'm about to flip tables over here. I love this. So you don't believe in a 50-50 household?
No.
No.
Are you serious?
They say that.
A man is to provide and protect. My mother said to me in how she raised Wesley and I, if you have a wife and she has a job too, one of y'all got to go. I believe a woman should work if she wants to work, but if she doesn't want to work, a man, not a grown boy, is supposed to provide and protect. When I married Gladys, I never forget when we went to the closing. I never ever shared this before. And she had a check, I had a check. And I said, "Your money does not spend here." Her mother said, "What a man."
No. Touche.
I said, "You sing if you want to sing. If you don't want to sing, you don't have to sing." Wow. That's how I roll.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2023, they still exist, okay? The gentlemen that want to provide. That is such a beautiful thing because in society today, there is so many people that are saying, "Oh, we need to go 50-50. So many men that are feeling like they are the prize. Actually, there was a video that just went pretty viral for us talking about how men feel like they are the prize. And I believe that men and women are the prize. We're both the prize.
Without any question.
And if you have to say it, are you really the prize?
If you are a man, a man's job is to look out for his family, to protect his family, to provide his family.
Yes.
If I have to work 2 or 3 jobs to do that, I'm going to do that.
Wow.
Now, if a woman wants to work, that's her goal. Whatever money that she earns, she should keep that for herself.
Yes.
But not to pay bills. Come on.
I'm so happy you said this. Thank you.
I don't know any other way.
You're a great man, Leslie. Mr. Leslie Brown.
Thank you so much.
Mrs. Mamie Brown's boy. Okay, here we go. Another hard question.
Yes.
Okay, you are on a date with your person. If you have a person, the person that you have. And you have one bite left and she takes it without you offering it. It's giving, wow, she must have really been hungry. Or it's giving, did you just take my last bite?
No, I would say you better watch your food the next day.
Oh, it's like, you can get away with it this time.
I mean, there are more important issues than arguing over someone taking the last bite.
Right. What if you were really hungry?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't?
Absolutely not.
Because the last bite won't really make a difference in hunger either.
Although it's the best bite.
It is the best bite.
You have to choose your battles. There are things that we become upset about.
Yes.
That are not really worth the time and effort put into them.
So true. Oh, goodness gracious.
Come with another
One more. One more. Here we go. Okay. So. Okay. Let's say. No, that one's too easy because I already know the answer. Oh, okay. Let's say you've had a really, really rough day and you're with your person and you cry.
Yes.
And then she makes fun of you for crying. It's giving, wow, I really tried to be vulnerable and I can't feel safe to do that with you. Or it's giving, you're right, I shouldn't be crying anyway.
No, I will start singing a song. I feel lonely whenever you are around.
We know that's not the wife.
Sometimes people make mistakes.
Yes.
One of the things I believe in very strongly, if you're married, have an agreement that you will not go crazy at the same time.
Oh.
That somebody will step back.
Yes.
And willing to take a stand for the relationship.
Yes.
So, you know, sometimes when you're chewing gum, you bite your tongue, but you don't cut your tongue out.
Right.
Yes. So one of the things that's very important, particularly if you're going to marry someone, is don't do it until you had a long, drawn out, ugly argument. Because now you're going to see the real person. Most of the times we marry pretenders. People who are pretending to be one way and we pretend to be another way. And then we experience delayed enlightenment. I had no idea you were like that.
Yes.
That's why you don't want to run into it.
Yes.
Take your time.
Yes.
Have a good, ugly argument.
Yes.
So you can see who's really back there.
Sheesh. You know, that's one thing my parents have been together for decades. And my mom says, choose someone that knows how to fight. And what she means by that is you can't be with someone who chooses to fight ugly. You have to choose someone that chooses to fight fair. Because when you're hurting and you're disappointed in a person, if you don't have enough emotional regulation, sometimes we will throw or project or intentionally or even subconsciously sometimes try to hurt the person that we love the most, not realizing that it does so much damage. And so it's so important to choose a person that, despite it all, like for me inside of a relationship, there's some things I'm never going to do. I don't believe in yelling at my partner. It's non-conducive, really. It's not effective either. I don't believe in calling my person out of their name ever, because now I'm opening the door to disrespect. Like some of the things that people are okay with, I'm not really okay with, or not even, I'm not okay with. And if that's the the level of entry that you're at, then don't choose me, because you won't like me and I won't like you, and it's just going to fizzle anyway. So I think that it goes back to a knowing of self first,
Yes.
before you choose that person. And prayerfully, it's a person that also knows themselves as well.
Absolutely. And self-appreciation.
Yes.
Yes. That you draw the line, that you'll never go there.
Yes.
That you will always stand for love.
Yes.
And for working things through. Communication is very valuable.
Yes.
In relationships.
What do you think if you've had an argument with a partner, as a man, in your masculine, you are a protector, a provider, and I'm just listening to you in that space. How do you lay down or throw in, like, wave the white flag? What does it look like for you to say, okay, I hate this problem, but I love you enough? What does that action look like? Or what should it look like for a man out there?
Let go or be dragged.
Oh.
Choose your battles. If you're committed to the relationship, the difference between commitment and involvement.
Yeah.
The next time you have bacon and eggs, the chicken was involved. The pig was committed. You had to give it all up. And sometimes you have to say, my bad. Even if you're right.
Yes.
You will back down for the relationship because you're committed to it.
Yes.
Your willingness to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things others won't have.
Yes.
Like peace, harmony, and joy.
Yes. It's like that saying, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Yes, and if you have a choice between being kind and being right, choose to be kind.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, it's almost like, oh, in our minds, we know when we're right and we know when we're wrong. But in our minds, what is the satisfaction of making sure that someone else knows? And I think that's where the ego comes in. If you need to prove that you're right, for what? Where's the reasoning there?
It doesn't serve you. Always choose the higher level.
Yes.
Yes. Hold yourself to a higher standard.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to shift gears again. I am an avid reader. I love a great book. And we always ask here on the end of the show, and I'd love to know your top 3, because I feel like you probably have several, reading 3 books a month. What are your 3 books that have changed your life and why?
The Bible, number 1.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. I just knew it.
Yes. And I'm not a religious person.
Spiritual.
I'm a spiritual person.
Yes. Religious
people are afraid of going to hell. Spiritual people have been there.
Oh.
And hell to me is what you experience when you die and you meet the person you were supposed to become. Don't come for me. I did not call an Uber.
I am literally like, spiritual people have been there.
Yeah.
Let that land. You know what I think hell is? On earth, hell on earth.
What?
I believe hell on earth is where you are in a constant state of reliving, rethinking, repunishing, debating, fearing, doubting the same experience that has always happened.
Yes.
And because you're constantly living in the past, you can't create your future.
And you choose not to create your future.
Yes.
You choose not to step out of your history.
Yes.
Into your imagination.
Oh, yes. I think that's hell on earth.
Absolutely.
And I think that a lot of people are living in their hell on earth because they're not in integrity with themselves, because they're drifting instead of deciding. They're allowing instead of deciding.
That's why when Jesus, the Jewish carpenter, sometimes I refer to him as Jerusalem Slim, said, when he was asked when the kingdom of God should come, he said, the kingdom of God cometh not by observation.
Yeah.
They shall say it's neither lo there, lo here. Behold, the kingdom of God is within you. And when we go within, there's an African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. Absolutely.
I know that proverb because of you.
Yeah, thank you. So we must anchor ourselves to peace, harmony, and joy within our heart.
Yes. Yes. Agreed. Okay, book number 2.
Yes.
What book has changed your life and why?
Book number 2 is a book by James Allen, As a Man Thinketh in His Heart, So Is He. It's a very small book, but it's a powerful book.
Okay.
And the other book is by Howard Thurman, who was a mentor of Dr. Martin Luther King. And the book is Deep is the Hunger. Yeah, and The Inward Journey by him. He was a profound thinker for Dr. King, for Mahatma Gandhi, and Albert Schweitzer. This is a very brilliant man. He said, there's a voice in each and every one of us that waits and listens to the genuine within ourselves. And if we cannot hear it, all of our days will be spent on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. He's a bad boy, Howard Thurman.
Sheesh. You are just such a vast well of knowledge.
Thank you.
It's really incredible.
You are too. I am
Thank
very
you.
impressed with you.
Thank you. Do you want to give one more book?
The Road to Your Best Stuff.
I have never heard.
The Road to Your Best Stuff is by Mike Williams. He saw this Les Brown before I saw him.
Yes.
Sometimes we need to have somebody in our life that believes in us until our belief kicks in. I wrote the foreword to that book, The Road to Your Best Stuff.
Yes.
He led me to this Les Brown.
Wow.
Before then, he was my newsman, and I was a disc jockey. And I had this limited vision of myself. Look out, this is me, LB Triple P. Les Brown, your platter playing papa. There were none before me, there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only, young and single and love to make, certified, bona fide, indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. Bam, he's gone. If a man is to gain his life, he must lose his life.
Oh. Well, we have to have you back. I hope you'll come back and we can have another conversation.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be ready for you.
Okay. Guys, oh my goodness gracious. What an episode. We got a chance to hear about relationships. We got a chance to hear about how to prepare yourself. We got a chance to hear about really trusting, believing, knowing for yourself who you are and where it is that you want to go today with the incredible, masterful, legendary Mr. Leslie Brown, Mrs. Mamie's Brown's boy. Oh my goodness gracious. I still am just like, I can't even believe that this happened. But guys, if no one has told you today, you are freaking phenomenal. Bomb.com. Nothing can stop you but you got to do something about it. So until next time, guys. Mwah. Bye.
Bye for now.